Welcome, ladies and gents, to another BTNeanderthal video. Today I spent like 7 hours just testing the early game builds, only the ones that have really been changed. I didn't really go over the things that were not changed, but I have some feedback, and I kind of ranked each build accordingly. It's for leveling, specifically. So when you look at these ranks and stuff like that, this is for leveling. So, first playthrough up to like level 50, and this is with pretty much no gear, with the exception of maybe the Barbarian and things that actually required gear in order to test the skill. Another one would be like Zon and bow skills, right? You have to actually test that with a bow. So we'll get to that in a second. Sorcerer's Chain Lightning at level 50 is big damage. It actually outweighs the damage on regular lightning. So Chain Lightning is like A tier, I'd say. And then we have Meteor, also A tier. Sorceress is looking really good, man. Like, all these things. Frozen Orbs looking good. Frost Nova's looking good. Ice Barrage, all these things as well, looking really good. So there's a huge bunch of buffs here with the Sorceress. And we go down to the Necromancer, and right now, during the leveling stage, Fire Golem, it wrecks face, man. The Holy Fire procs are like crazy. So that's why it's probably the best leveling setup. Then there's also Dark Pact. This one requires skill and knowledge, so I was a little hesitant to put it on S tier, but it's really good. But the damage output is awesome. And this one, honestly, the skeletons are really doing good on the Necromancer. They're very strong, and obviously ease of play. Bone Necromancer is also very good, and it's stronger than last season, so that's good. And then we have revives, which is an F-. Okay, we don't talk about revives. They literally fall over. Power Strike is extremely good in the early game. Falls off a little bit in like Nightmarish and like late normal, but you know, you can get gear and stuff. Again, I tested with basically no gear or minimum gear. We have fire arrows and ice arrows. These are pretty much equal, honestly. Like when I say ice arrows and fire arrows, I'm including like fire arrow itself and exploding arrow. They're actually relatively even, except one is used for one situation and the other one's used for other situations. Same thing with ice arrow. You know, you got cold arrow, ice arrow, freezing arrow. Freezing arrow is still probably the best as far as like once you get to nightmare and late nightmare, but like they're actually pretty good damage. You use ice arrow for single target, and then you use cold arrow for like a little bit more AoE before you're level 30 on Zon. Poison Creeper. This thing is gonna get freaking... I say it's triple S tier. I'll give you an example. This thing is broken. Hard broken. Right now, if nothing happens to Poison Creeper, you're just gonna plow. I killed Eldritch on normal on a level 2 Druid Poison Creeper. Eldritch in normal with level 2. And I was doing damage with level 2 Poison Creeper in Hell against Fallen. Level 2. Okay? Crazy. Endgame, it's like not that good, so I already talked about all the endgame. This is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about early game. Fire Druid, also S tier. It's just really good. You got physical damage, you got, you know, you got your Volcano, you got your Molten Boulder, your Firestorm. They're all like really good skills. I'm really happy to see Fire Druid actually doing some work. And I was torn between A and B tier on Wind Druid. It's good. It's really good, but like it's not quite as good as Fire Druid. Then we have and it has like CC and stuff with Hurricane. It's a good build, man. Rabies, it was very strong already, and I actually break down Rabies in one of my pay to play episodes. I think it was episode 6, so if you want to go check that out. It's stronger than it was when I displayed that, and it was good back then. So Rabies is looking really good right now. Shockwave. I'd say this is a very balanced build right now as far as the leveling portion of the game. Shockwave feels good. It really does. But then we go to the Barbarian, and this is a very difficult answer for the Barbarian because it's so item dependent. But you can definitely get stuff done. You can go through the game. As a second character, you'll wreck face. But as one that starts off, it's gonna be like B and C. The good thing is, I didn't put it lower like D or anything because now we have crafting available to us, and that crafting is going to impact us in ways that will allow us to actually get it up to maybe a B tier, maybe a C tier, depending on what you find during your playthrough as a Barbarian. FOH and Holy Bolt are actually S tier during leveling. They're crazy. Actually crazy. FOH actually in some scenarios was doing more damage than Holy Bolt, depending on the situation. FOH in endgame, trash. Mechanically, I hate FOH. But it was in some cases doing more damage than Holy Bolt, and Holy Bolt is crazy. So S tier easy. Blessed Hammer, it's a very solid option, does a lot of good damage. Cobra Strike on the Assassin. For leveling, this is probably the second best skill after Poison Creeper. So this is like basically, if we're talking legit builds, this is like the strongest. This is like the strongest skill for leveling right now. It's crazy. Normal, it shreds. Nightmare, it shreds. It just shreds. And then you can stack poison damage charms. You can stack with venom. You can get better weapons. There's just so many options to get that like better. Same thing with martial arts on Fist of Fire, Phoenix Strike, all those things with the synergies. Very good spot. It's a very good spot. S tier. Fire Traps is A tier. It's actually probably a little strong still, but you do have to count Death Sentry as a part of this, and Death Sentry does almost next to nothing. So it does some things, but it's not like a huge deal. Light Traps. And Light Traps I would put in a B tier, just as far as leveling, because it takes you, you know, to level 40. I probably could have put this one, honestly, in B tier because it's dependent on the level. So just take that with a grain of salt, that these things, they don't really start to kick in until you're like level 40, 50, somewhere around there. You know what I mean? Then you got Mind Blast. It's still solid. It's basically the same thing as it was before. It's still gonna crush vanilla content, but it's not anything on par with like some of the other stuff. So anyways, that's kind of my review of the early game characters and changes. Apparently there's going to be patch notes coming out tomorrow. Hopefully some of the things that are broken get addressed. For example, this needs to be addressed, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So thank you all for watching. You guys are beasts.